I think this is the 4th batch of tofu I've made in the last week and a half, and I just made it into some stir fry. But I thought I would share how I make homemade tofu. Just 3 ingredients: soybeans, lemon juice, water. Is that it? That's it. And I like it because I think the texture is just way better than store-bought. It's also about the 1/3 of the price. Way cheaper. I know what's in it, but really like the texture. It just tastes way better to me. So I'm gonna take you through step by step. It is slightly modified from our folksy ways on Instagram. There's just some timings that I use differently. And yeah, I just love it. I make it all the time. I hope you enjoy it and like it and use it. And if you do, let me know. Or if you have any, if you make it differently, let me know. I'm always down to try alterations. Check it out. First things first, I soak my soybeans in water overnight. I do a cup of soybeans and I do at least 3 cups of water because they triple in size. So here they are after soaking overnight, and then I try to take as many of the little casings off of the beans as I can. A lot of them just float to the top. If you can't get them all, no worries. It's not gonna make or break your result. And then I drain all the water out and put the soaked beans in the blender. And then I add 5 cups of water to the blender and blend on high for 1 minute. Next, I take a fine mesh bag and I squeeze as much liquid out as I can. This is just actually a laundry delicates bag that I never used for laundry, and so I use in the kitchen a lot, but use whatever you have available. And you can save the okara, that's the soy pulp that's going to be left inside the bag. You can use it in plenty of cooking. People make cookies with them or burgers even. It's got a lot of protein. I usually throw it in smoothies for a little protein boost. But yeah, just store it in your freezer and use it when you want it. Next, I'm taking the soy milk we have and heating it to a boil. Once it reaches a boil, we're going to let it simmer on the stove for about 10 minutes. Make sure you stir it constantly, otherwise it will burn on the bottom of the pan. Learned that the hard way. Then we're going to cover it for 5 minutes off of the heat. While that's resting, I'm going to take a 1/2 cup of water and add a 1.5 tablespoons of lemon juice. Stir it up. After those 5 minutes, I'm going to add half of the lemon juice mixture to the pot and stir it in back and forth motions. Just want to get it really well distributed in the pot. Then I'm going to add the other half and stir again. Once it's all stirred up, I'm gonna put the cover back on the pot, and I usually let it rest for between 15 and 18 minutes. And once that's done, this is what it looks like. Not the most pleasant, kind of looks like cottage cheese, but this is exactly what we want. Then I'm going to take my strainer again and put a cheesecloth over it and pour this lovely mixture in. At this point, it's a little too hot for me to squeeze out, so I'm just going to let it sit in the sink for a bit and start draining, but mostly just let it cool off. Once it's not scalding hot, I'm going to grab the cheesecloth and start squeezing all the liquid out. I have tofu molds that I use that have drainage holes, so I don't have to worry about getting every last bit of liquid out. But if you are using a plastic container, I would get as much of the liquid out as you possibly can. Otherwise, it's going to be a little bit soft. And here I'm just scraping all the little bits into the center so they all get formed into the block. And then I transfer it to my mold. Again, in the past I've used just Tupperware. You don't need a fancy mold. It helps, but it's not required. Then I tuck it all in. Put the lid on, squeeze a little more out. And then I let it sit for at least an hour. I put something heavy this time. I put just a measuring cup filled with water on top to kind of add some weight to it. But I let it sit for, at least an hour. Once that's done, you'll see that there's still quite a bit of liquid left on the plate. So I'm gonna drain that off. And then it's time to pull the tofu out of the mold. Unwrap it. And that is our tofu, all done, ready to go. You can store it in your fridge for up to 5 days, or you can eat it immediately like I do. Thanks for watching. I hope this was helpful. Let me know if you have any questions. Subscribe if you haven't yet, and give this a thumbs up, and I'll see you next time. Bye.